And all right. So first of all, thank you everyone. Like अभी यहाँ पे जितने भी लोग हैं, uh, उन सबको पहले मेरा thank you that now we are 10K subscribers. Okay. So पहली बात मुझे पहले मैं start कर like first I'll start how things got started. Like why I came on YouTube. Like what was the motivation behind it. Okay. So the thing is that कभी सोचा नहीं था that I will be starting YouTube and continuing this for so long. It's been 1 year or more than 1 year, I guess. I remember when I started my YouTube channel on September 30th, I think I put my first video on YouTube, and that too, it was because of few of my students because I used to give some free training to some college student, and I remember they got a project regarding, sir, can you help us to make Angular CRUD, the Angular 11 CRUD. I remember the Angular version 11 was there at that time. So they asked for me like, sir, can you please help me with our project? So I was like, let's go ahead and make it. So yeah, I was talking about that CRUD operation, how it has been started for me with that. So that video went viral because then I come to know like, okay, there are a lot of students because I wanted to reach a lot of persons. So that's why I created the video because few of them wanted, sir, can you record a video and then send it to us? And the video was that much useful to them, so they asked us, sir, why not upload this on YouTube? And because of those 3 4 students, I did that, and I saw that video went viral. Like I got around 100K views on it. Then that actually quite motivated me to let's why not continue this. And I think there are people who really need this kind of content, so I thought let's go ahead and just like create and just help them. Like I love my community, I love my Angular community, and I want to do good for it as well. So that's why I have continued. And if you see, my content are mostly on Angular and .NET, but I'm also a React trainer as well. It's not like I just know Angular and .NET. I also train React, Node.js, Java. So all of them are there in my bucket list. But it's still like if you ask me, oh, sir, what is your favorite? So I'll always stick with Angular and .NET Core because that's how I started my career. But one thing I want to say here that always do not love framework. Like I know, always try to love programming, not framework, because framework can come and go anytime. Okay, if you want to love something, then do love the programming because if your basics are strong, okay, if you know about what is object oriented programming, what are those classes, objects, what are functions, then it is more or less same in every framework, whether it is React, it is Vue.js, it is Angular, .NET, the concepts are same. Okay, if you want to work on something, then work on your basics. I would say work on your basics so that if your basic is strong, then no one is going to touch you. You can learn anything, learn any framework. That's not a problem. That's why I always try to motivate person. Do not love framework. If you want to love something, then love programming. Like learn those logics, learn the implementations, all that. Okay. Let me see. I got one more comment by VP. Career opportunities in .NET Core in India. How to grow as a .NET developer. Career opportunities, I would say it's vast because for example, if I have when I was starting my career, right? So for me also it was a challenging in the first because I was a Java certified developer, but I got an opportunity in a .NET project. So when I started that, I felt it is almost the same, almost same. Only thing changed was some syntax changes was there. So I thought, hey, let's go ahead and try this .NET. Why not this .NET? And you're talking about the career growth in India. It is there. So .NET is a product of Microsoft. Let me tell you that. And if it is a product of Microsoft, then let me tell you that it is not here from 2 3 years. It is here since 2000 when .NET was released, framework was released. So I think .NET is here to stay. And with .NET 7, so which is released currently, like they had worked a lot on that. So it is quite faster now. So one thing I can say that. And yes, .NET is here to stay in India. BP. Yes. And if you want to grow as a .NET developer, I would say if you are just a beginner, then try to learn them and then try to implement those concepts. Okay. If you want to learn anything, it's better to do a project and then learn. Okay. Not just theoretical things you read it somewhere and you feel like, yes, I know .NET and I know C sharp. It is not like that. Okay. Always try to create a project and then learn. Like, learn something for 1 hour and implement it for 2 hours. I would say learn them 1 hour and just try to create a project. Just try to grind yourself and just see how you can make that project, how you can use those learning into your project. Okay. So follow this kind of pattern. Like, that's what I did actually in my career, and that actually helped me a lot. Okay. And if you ask me those, then this is what the tip I can give: create a project and learn it. All right. Okay, then. So let me just jump to why we are here for. So first of all, let's see what we have completed in the last session. So in the last session, we have created something called as JWT token. Okay, and JWT token, I told you what is the importance of JWT token, all right? So let's go ahead and implement the token which was created in the backend, and let's see how we can implement it in our Angular. Okay, let's go ahead and start this now. Okay, so for now, let's first see what is the problem now. If I try to log in, yes, that's a good thing that we have a validation here, that form validation. But if I just try to put a username, let me first create a username. So let me do that again. SK username is user at the rate 123. Email is again user at the rate gmail.com. And password this time I will play easy one, 1234566. Okay, but this will not allow, right? Because we have those validations as well, which we have added. So I'll have to go with again this one. Better this time I'll copy this. Okay. Now let's click on sign up. I can see user added. Let's go here. The username was user at the rate 123 and password was admin at the rate 123. Okay, now click on login. So now can you see the login is success? And I came on my dashboard page. So this is my dashboard page. Okay, so let me add something here so that this should not look blank. So let's go here in the components. We have a dashboard. The HTML let's put here. Let's put here H1. Okay, let's save it. Okay, let's go on the browser and check. Can I see that or not? It's still compiling. Compile success. Now I can see hello dashboard, which means this works. Okay, so to come to this page I need to do login first and then I can see this page. But if I go back, I again come to login page, and now from here if I try to again go to dashboard, can you see I can access? So this is not a good security, to be very honest. So this is not good. So to make this thing good, or maybe like to put here a good guard, so for to protect our routing, if you see, right, we are changing the route. I'm changing the route from here, from login to dashboard, and this guy is allowing me to go to the dashboard page, and which is bad, correct? Which means this is problem related to a routing. Okay, which means what we need to do is, someone is trying to route to a page, so we should stop them. Okay, so there must be some security, right? So in your building, like if you wherever you live, you have a security guard or someone, okay, who checks, hey, if you have access to it, if you have a token or something with you, then only you can go to the room or you can access everything. But if you don't have that, then it should not allow. Okay, it should not allow, which means it should stop you on the gate itself. It should stop you on the login page itself. Okay, so to implement that, there is something called as auth guard in Angular. Auth guard. Okay, and inside that we will be creating making use of a guard whose name is can activate. Okay, so we are going to use something called as can activate in Angular to protect our routing, so that we should not directly go from here to the dashboard. We need to protect it. So how do we gonna do that? Okay, so if you still remember that we have created this endpoint where we are getting the token. Whenever we are trying to authenticate, we are getting a token. Okay, let me show you that token again. So let me show how the token looks like. If I go in the network tab, and again if I try to log in again with the same user, and here I put admin at the rate 123, and if I press on login, let me remove the breakpoints, and if you go in the network tab, okay, so can you see one thing here? I'm getting this in the preview. I can get a token. I'm getting a token from the backend. And if you have seen my last video, so you know how we have created this token, all right? So now we are going to use this token to protect our routing. Okay, we are going to protect our routing now. Okay, so let's try to do that. Let's go here and do that. So in the Angular, we have to create a guard. Okay, so I'm going to create it outside. So in the app, let me put up my charger. Okay, now it's up. Okay, now let's go in the app and create a folder called as guards. Okay, and inside this folder, we need to create a auth guard. So how do we create? So let's right click on here and click open in integrated terminal. So this will open here, so you can see it is under the guards folder. And now let's hit a command g for generate, g for guard, and the guard name is auth. So we are creating a auth guard. So once you give the name auth, let's see how the naming convention comes. Let's wait. Yeah, so it is asking for which guard you want to implement. Okay, so we have total 5 guards in Angular. So out of which, if you ask me, sir, which one is very famous and widely used, I would say the can activate and can activate child. People use can load as well, but I'll talk about it later in my some of my video. I'll talk about each and every guards in detail. Okay, but first let's concentrate on the very important one, which is the can activate. Let's click enter, and you can see a guard is created, and that's how the Angular follows naming convention. Name what you have given dot guard dot ts. Okay, so this is our auth guard, our guard creator, a can activate guard. Okay, so let me remove all this so that it should not confuse you by showing all these things. But let me tell you about the most important part of this can activate guard. Okay, a guard is nothing but this guard actually helps you to return a true or false value. Okay, this guard only helps you to return true or false value. That's it. That's the job of this guard. People, I'm not sure why people find it difficult. Hey, Shashi, I'm not able to understand guards, how to implement them, how to use them. I see people struggling with the guards, or also in interview they sometimes fail to answer it. But for me, if you ask me what is guard, it's very simple. A guard is just a kind of a method which helps you, which gives a true or false value. That's it. And that too based on some condition. Based on some condition, it returns either true or false. That's it. If the value is true, then allow him to go. Allow him to use your project. Allow him to use your website. If the value is false, then stop him right away. Stop him on that page itself. Do not allow him to go to the next page or the dashboard page. Okay, something like that. Okay, all right. So we have created the guard and we know that this should return either true or false. So we can make here, as we can say, return type as well as boolean. It returns a boolean. Okay, like that. All right. So what is that condition? Let's try to get that. How we will create a condition. So one thing we can check, right? So whenever we are logging in the application, okay, we are logging in the application, we see we are getting a token. Okay, if we are getting a token, which means the user is logged in. If we don't have token, which means user is not logged in. So do not allow the routing. Correct. So we have to implement that. So to implement it, so what I will do is I will create a service. So I already have an auth service. So inside this, I will be creating a logic to check if I have a token or not. I have a token or not. If I have a token, I will be storing that token in local storage. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do next. So to do that, let's go ahead and go in your service and try to create that service. It's simple. All you need to do is let's create some methods. Few methods I will be creating. First one to store token. Okay. So to storing a token, again, it's just simple. We will be storing it in local storage dot dot set item. Okay. How do we set it? We just give here as what is the key value, how we want to store. I want to store it as a token, and you need to set a value, right? You need to set a value. So I'll say token value. Okay, and this token value will be passed in this methods parameter. So store, sorry, it's token value. Okay, token value. Okay, and now I can just, it's of a type string. Token is a type string. It's not any object or something like that. Okay, it's just a string. So this is my token. All right. Now, now this method is ready. Now there should be one method which tells that get token. So let's create a method called as get token. This method will be useful later. I'll tell you how. Okay. So this will return local storage dot get item. I want to get the token. Okay, so this is setting the token. This is getting the token whenever we require. So we are doing this in a service, right? And service is helpful whenever we need to call something. This is a singleton service, so this can be called anytime, any point of time. Okay, so set and get is done. Okay, okay. Now if I want to check if my user is logged in or not, how do we get that? So let's create one more method. Is logged in. This guy should return a boolean. Okay, so let's try to return. So we can say return local storage dot get item. Okay, but this is a string. This returns a string, right? So if I hover on this, it says type string is not assignable to a type boolean, which means this is returning a string, but we want a return type as a boolean. So we can just add here to exclamation, and now this converts your string to a boolean value, which means if there is a token, then it will return true. If there is no token, if the value is null, then it will return false. Okay, so that's how we created this method. Is logged in. Okay, so we have three methods now: store, get, and is logged in. Now what we will do, we are going to use this method first. Okay, whenever our login is success. So let's go in the login component, and let's go here on the success call. So if you see, right, so this is our success call. So whenever my login is success, what I want to do is I want to store the token. Okay, so for storing it, let's call the service. So I have injected the service already, auth, and in the auth we have the method called as this dot auth dot store token. Store token, and it accepts a value. Okay, token value. So we are getting, if you remember right, in the response we are getting the token. Okay, in the response we were getting the token, response dot token. If I again try to log in, user at the rate 123, and password is admin at the rate 123. If I again log in here, can you see, guys, see, just forget about this user, I'll talk about this later, but just concentrate on this guy, authenticate method. So this returns a token, so this is the object which is returns. Okay, so here we have response dot message. So for token we have response dot token. So this is the object, so that's what we are using. So for storing we can say response dot token. That's it. So this guy will now store your token. Okay, this guy will store your token. All right, now let's go ahead and check in the auth guard. Check in the auth guard. Now I told you, right, if the token is there, then return true, which means the user can log in. If the token is not there, you can return false. Correct? Now let's go here in your guards, and now here try to call that service, auth service. So for calling the service, we need a constructor, because constructor in Angular is used to inject services. Okay, let's call the service auth service, and it is imported on the top as well. You need to import this, and now we can use it. Now let me remove this true value, and now I can say if this dot auth dot is logged in. So this is logged in returns a two boolean value, right? If the user is logged in, if the user is logged in, then you can say return true. Okay. And if the user is not logged in, if the user is not logged in, then you can say, or let's try to have an else block. Okay, we'll try to optimize it later. You can say return false. That's it. This is what a auth guard is. Don't you think this is, how do you think, is it easy or difficult? What, it's very easy, right? Just need to check if he is logged in. If yes, return true. No, then return false. That's it. Let's save all the changes. And now if you tell me like, Shashi, is it ready now? Can we restrict the user to not to log into our application, like to access the dashboard without login? The answer is no. Why no? Because this is only 50% implementation. The important implementation, like important thing is to make it use. We have just configured something. Now we need to make use of this auth guard. Okay, the configuration is done. Now the next part is usage. How do we use? So this is belongs to routing, right? So for that we will be going in our app.routing.module. Okay, and I want to restrict the dashboard. Correct? I want to stop the person. If you don't have access, you should not go to dashboard. So for that, I need to use can activate. So this can activate will help me. And inside that, we just need to pass our guard what we have created. The guard name is auth guard. Click here. This will be auto imported on the top. Okay, auth guard. So now it is ready. Now it is ready to use. Now this dashboard will be restricted. No one can use dashboard if you are not logged in. Let's go on the browser and check. Let's do a demonstration. Then let's go to the login page and let me remove if there is any token present. All right. Let me reload the page again. Yeah. Now I'm trying to access my page. If I try to go to dashboard, it throws me to a blank page, which means it is not allowing me to go to that page. Okay, but this is a blank page. See, I'm not able to access the dashboard. Okay, again, if I try to go on dashboard, I'm trying again, bro. I'm trying again. Let me copy this so that I can try two, three times. No, cannot access. Let me try again. No, but I don't want to come to this page as well, right? And there is nothing showing here like, okay, if there is wrong, what is going wrong, because I cannot see anything. So let's try to make all this functional now. Okay, now let's again go in your auth guard and let's try to add few more things. If the user is logged in, okay, so I want to send him to the dashboard page. I want to send him to the dashboard page. We are not saying that here. So we need to say that like, hey, if you have access, then you can go to the dashboard page. Okay, so let me just try to implement that as well. If you have no access, then you cannot go to the dashboard page. So let me say private. Again, we need to play with the route, right? Router, and we need to call the router. So this router will help me to stop the user on the login page, because if you see, right, it is going on the blank page, which I don't want. Okay, I want to stop him to the login page. Okay, let me go in the routing and let me check if the path is this. Okay, that's correct. All right, now what I will do is I'll say here, if you are not logged in, then I'll say this dot router dot navigate to the same page, to the login page. We can just tell him, hey, if you don't have access, so you should stay on the same page. Okay, you should not go to any other page. Something like that we can do. Okay, so this has to be like this. It's an array. Stay on the login page if you don't have access. But if you have access, then it's true. You can use the application. Something like that. And also we will try to give some errors as well so that we can check what is going wrong. So for that, again, let's try to create our toaster. Use our toaster. It is ng toast service. And here we can just say this dot toast dot error. Inside that we can add details. Detail will be it's an error, and we can say summary. Summary will be please log in first. Okay, something like that. Now let's save it. And now let's go on the browser to check again what is the behavior. If I again remove this, and if I try to go to dashboard, can you see? Now it is still on the same page, and we can say please log in first. Okay, again let me try. If I again try to go on dashboard, see, it is not allowing me. Okay, so that's how you implement your auth guard. That's how you protect your route. So now no one can access your dashboard page. But what if I put some your my username and password, and the password was admin@123. Wow, now I can access my dashboard page. Okay, but there is one more catch. One more catch. There should be some button like logout button or something like that by which we can sign out. Right? If we have logged in, so there must be some sign out button so that we can remove the token after sign out. Okay. Okay. Let's try to implement that. Let's go in the dashboard and let's add a button very quickly. I think we have Bootstrap already added in the project, so we can use button.btn.btn danger for a red color, and we can say here logout. Save it and let's see. So we have a logout button ready. Now what we need to do is we go here and we create a logic for logout. So for logout, what we will do, we'll again create a service. Okay, we'll create a service for logout. So that's the correct way of doing it. Let's not do it directly from here. So let's go in the service and create a sign out method. Sign out. And here we can say if someone clicks on sign out, I want to clear the local storage. So local storage dot clear. Okay, you can clear a single item as well by saying local storage dot remove. If you want to remove the token, you can do this as well. Okay, but I always follow this one, like let's clear the storage if you're not using it anything, so we can remove it, all the local storage which was been saved. So now we are removing the token from this line, and we can say here that okay, if this is done, then you can route to the page. We can just add your routing as well here if you want, so you can do that as well. We can say private router. Okay, then again call the router because we want to go to the login page now again. So we can say this dot router dot navigate, and we can come on the login page again. Okay, so this method is done, and now we will implement this. Now we will use this sign out in your login. Oh, sorry, the dashboard where we have created this method called as logout. So let's again import, sorry, the inject the auth service here. Okay, and now here let's take this dot auth dot sign out. I'll take some questions, guys, after this once I complete this because we need to talk about interceptor as well. So I'll do that after this. Okay. So for before that, we'll take a 5 minutes of Q&A if you have any questions regarding whatever I have explained. Okay. So this is what logout is, and we need to call this method on click of this button. So let's do that. We can say logout. I hope the spelling is correct. Yeah, the spelling is not correct, so it throws an error. So that's fine. We can make it small. Logout. Okay, now this is ready. Now let's go here, click on logout. We come on login page. Let's try to access the dashboard again. Click. We cannot log in. Please log in first. And now we need to log in again. And we can log in your application. Okay. So that's how we have implemented AuthGuard in our application. So if you have any doubt, you can let me know in the chat. Interceptor. Again, one of the very important interview question people ask. What is interceptor in Angular? How do we use it? So we are going to make use of interceptor so that you can answer the same thing in your interview as well. Okay, that's a very important concept of Angular, interceptors. All right, so now let's go ahead and check the second problem. Not the problem, but yeah, what we have implemented. Let's see here in your .NET application. So I need to open up my .NET application. Now let's go ahead and see why the interceptor is needed. First of all, why the interceptor is needed. Okay. So guys, I have created a new endpoint. If you see, right, I think people will have till here. If you have followed all my videos, so you will have till here, till token, create token. So I have created one token here, API here, and the API name is get all users. Okay, get all users. Let me remove this authorize for now. Let me remove this authorize for now. Okay, so it's a very simple method. Okay, I think I have not taught it in my previous videos, but you can see here I have a very small method, and this method returns a list of user who has registered in your application. Okay, so let's go here and let me just show you. This is the API how it looks like. If I click get, try it out, execute. Okay, so what I want to see is, see, can you see I'm getting an error? Okay, because I need to restart the application because I removed the authorize. I need to restart the application. Let's wait for it to get restarted. Okay, here it comes. So we have this API created, get users. If I click on try it out, click on execute. Can you see I'm getting a list of users from the database? I'm getting Mintrop, John, random. See, I have added the random. And the last one what we added is SK and with the username as user at the 123. So the thing is, I have created an endpoint and I want to protect this endpoint. I told you, right? Token helps you to protect your services, your data, your resources. So this is my resource which is stored on my database, the list of users. I want to protect this list of users. Okay. If you see, like, anyone who will, if I deploy my application and anyone who goes to this routing, like my www dot my application slash api slash user, so they can access my list of users without even login, without being an authentic user. They can log in my application, they can access my data. So that is bad, right? So this is not good. So we can protect it in .NET Core. Okay, because half thing we have already did, we have created a token already. Okay, so here on this line we have created the token, and now we need to make use of the token to create the security level. Okay, and if you go in the program.cs file, I mentioned one thing very clearly, that make use of this app.use authentication and app.use authorization. This is the a pipeline where we have registered our authentication authorization. So this is the guy if you need to add, so that you can use authentication in your project, so that your token will work actually. Okay, let's go in the user controller and make use of an attribute called as authorize. Okay, so we can make use of this authorize, okay, to protect your API. So now my this API will be protected. Okay, if you don't have token, then you cannot access my application. For example, let me restart the application because I made the changes, and let's go and try to access this API again. Okay, let's try to access this API. If I again click on get user, try it out, click on execute. Whoa, I can see an error. I hope you guys can see. Let me zoom in a bit. Yeah. Can you see the error? It is 401. Error 401. Response status is 401, which means you cannot able to access my API, which means you are unauthorized. 401 means you are unauthorized. If we have a status code 401, let me show you. Status code 401. Okay, this indicates that the client request has not been completed because it lacks valid authentication credential, which means this guy is not authenticated, so you cannot access my application, you cannot access my API. That's what he's trying to say by returning 401. Okay, so now how will I able to access? I can only use this if I have a token with me. If the user is genuine, if the user is there in my database, then only he can access the token. For example, if I have a postman, maybe I can show you. Okay, I don't have it yet, so let me just try to uh, create one. This endpoint, let me try to use it in your Angular application. So let me just show how I have added this. Okay, so let's go in the app, go in the service, and in the API service, I have created a method, a API method, a very easy one, a very simple one. Okay, again, I created an API service. Now you guys know how to create API, right? API service, APIs. So right click here, open an integrated terminal, and just write the command G for generate, S for service, and the service name is API. And this should be in this folder, services folder. Okay, and this will get created. Once we have this, so we need to make use of HTTP client to do the API calling. You guys know all this, I guess, because I have explained about how do we do login and sign up. It is almost same. But this time we are creating a get user call, get API call. And this is the base URL which we are hitting. If I show the same here, yep, then this is same. And you see, I'm hitting this URL, the request URL is this, and we are getting 401. Okay, let's go. And now the service is ready. And now I want to see all the list of user on my dashboard. Okay, I want to see them on the dashboard. So let's go here in the dashboard and let's call this service API service. Okay, inject the API service, and from that I'm calling this guy. So I create a property called as users, list of users array, and I'm storing all the response what I'm getting from the API inside this users. Okay, and this users I want to display here. So to display them, let's use ng for. Okay, let's say here star ng for let user of users, and I want to display all the username. So I can say user dot username. Okay, let's save this. Let me check the, yeah, that's correct. Okay, now I want to display all the username. Okay, if I save it, and now let me see if the yeah, it's compiled successful. Let me go here. First of all, let me try to again do the same thing just to test if everything, yeah, it works. Let me try to access. Now if I say admin at the rate, sorry, user at the rate 123, the password will be admin at the rate 123, and I hit enter now. Okay, I can see the dashboard page. I can see the dashboard, but I cannot see the list of users. I cannot see the list of users. Let me see what is the problem. Inspect and just see the error. Wow. As I have told you, we are getting an error called as 401. But you'll ask me, Shashi, why? But we have successfully logged in, right? And you told me that, okay, if you log in with your credentials, then you can access all the API, all the resources. But still I'm not able to log in. Why? The reason is if you want to access that URL, you need to send the token to the backend. Okay, you need to send the token to the backend. How do we send the token to the backend? Okay, what is the way? What is the various way to send the token to backend? The thing is, we make use of interceptor. We make use of interceptors. Okay, how do we send the token with interceptors? Okay, for example, we can send token by using the headers. By using the headers. Okay, now you look at Shashi, what is header? Now I know this question can come to, this question comes to every fresher and beginners who have just started. So what is header in your web application, in your web? What is HTTP headers and all these things? So let me just try to show you what is headers. If I again try to access the same URL, same endpoint for login. Okay, if I click on login, if you go in the network tab, can you see I'm getting this slash user as an error 401. If I open this, if I go in the headers, right, here is the problem. So he is asking me to add the authentication bearer token. He is asking me to append that token. If you see this token, right, he is asking us to append this token. Append this token on the header so that backend can validate. Okay, so my job as a front-end developer would be, I want to append the token because my backend developer he added the security that no one can access my resource, my API, if you don't have token. So where we will send the token from? How do we send the token? Who is the transmitter? The transmitter is the mediator guys who is taking your token is your header. Header takes your token and give it to your backend. Okay. Now we have to append the token. To append it on header, who in Angular helps you to append those or modify those headers? We have to modify the header, right? We need to add one extra header called as authentication. We want to set a header. To setting the header or to modifying the header, there is something called as interceptor. Interceptor. This interceptor helps you to modify your request and response URL. We can modify them, we can change them based on our requirement. Okay, so whenever suppose a request comes, right? So here we have our interceptor. So this interceptor will take it, he will modify it, and he will send it. Okay, request, and same thing in the response. When it is coming, here is the interceptor, he can modify it and he can send it to the backend. So he is the middle guy who helps you to modify your headers. Modify your headers whenever you are doing HTTP call. So let's go ahead and see it in practical. How do we create an interceptor in Angular? So let's see that first. So for that, let me again create a folder. So there can be, I have seen a lot of interceptor to create it. So that's why I create a folder and then I create the interceptor inside that. Interceptors. And inside this, I need to create my first interceptor. So again, right click here, open in integrated terminal. So we are inside this folder now. You can say G for generate interceptor, and I want to give the name of interceptor as token interceptor because we are doing it for token, right? We are setting the token on the header value. If you have any doubt, please mention it in the comment section so that I can see and I can answer them. That will be helpful for others as well. Okay, if you have questions, do ask me in the comment. Okay, so that's how we create a token interceptor. G for generate interceptor, and the interceptor name, I want to give a name of interceptor as token. If I hit enter, now I will show you how the naming convention Angular schematics follow. So it gives your token name dot interceptor dot ts. If I open this, wow. So we are getting a boilerplate code. Okay, so this is the beauty of Angular actually. We don't need to write. It helps us in productivity. It helps you to generate this boilerplate code thanks to Angular CLI. So people can ask you, what is Angular CLI? How does it help you? You can tell them it helps us in the productivity. It helps you to generate the boilerplate codes for us. So that's how a boilerplate codes look like, an interceptor. We don't need to write them from scratch, right? It saved a lot of our time. 2-3 minutes it have saved of mine. So that's the benefit of CLI as well, Angular CLI. Okay, so this is how our interceptor looks like. Okay, and now we want to modify. We want to modify this interceptor. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to append the token on the header. Okay, so where we have token, the token is in local storage. Okay, how to get the token? I have created a method, right? I have created a method called as get token. This method we will be calling. So let's go here and try to call the method. So we'll say private auth service. Okay, it is imported on the top. Now here we need to call my token. So my const my token equals, I'll say this dot auth dot get token. So inside this I will get my token. Okay, I will get my token inside this, and now from this token I want to modify it. I want to modify this token in such a way that it gets appended on the header. Okay, if I just show you the header right now how it looks. So there is nothing called as authentication or anything here in the header, right? Can't you see anything? No, you can't see anything called as authentication, or you can't see anywhere token is appended. Okay, let's go. So now we will take this token. Okay, now we want to modify this, right? So for modifying it, we will just say here that, okay, If you have the token, then modify. So I'll have a if condition. If I have my token, if I have my token, then I want to modify. I want to modify. What I want to modify? I want to set. I want to set the token value. Okay, set the token value. Now Shashi use modify and set. Modify. What will be modified? Your request will be modified. So we can say here your request equals. So request dot clone. We are creating a clone of the request, and inside that there is something called as set headers. Modify and set. Modify the request and set the header. I want to set the header. It's very easy. How do we set it? We can just say here authorization. It's an authorization. We want to set the authorization, and we can just say here Shashi is cool. Okay, so I have a token here and I'm trying to set it like Shashi is cool for now. So once I have set the header right, I can just say here, now in the next line I can say request request dot handle. Why is it not coming? I'm not sure. Request, sorry, it should be next because we have a next on the top. This guy we need to use. This is the handler. So let me remove for now. Oh, it is already there. I'm so sorry, guys. It is already there. So in the next line we are handling. So that if you guys know about, I think most of the experienced person will know. This next will call your the pipeline in .NET Core. People say like next. It sends you to the next pipeline which runs. So that's how it is actually. So whenever we say next dot handle, now our request will get handled. So that's how we send the request again. What we did, we had the request first, we modified it based on our requirement, and then we are sending it back. Go back. Now let me just save it. Save it. Still, if you say Shashi, now we can send the token, right? The answer is no. Why no? Because still we need to configure them. Okay, we need to configure them. Sorry, we need to use them. Configuration is done. Now we need to use them. How? Where do we use it? We will use it in app module and in the provider. In the provider, we need to provide. We need to provide them. Okay. So let's go ahead in the providers array and let's say provide. What you want to provide? What what you want to? I want to provide HTTP interceptor. See, it is imported on the top. I want to provide HTTP interceptors. And the next line I'll say, okay, which class should I use? Which class should I use? If you know, right? This is a class. The interceptor is a class, right? It's a class. So which class should I use? I'll say, okay, use the token interceptor class. And I'll say here multi s2 because it can have, we can provide many, right, inside. So multi equals to true. Now will it modify my request? The answer is yes. Now this guy will modify your request. Okay, let me show you how. Let's go on the UI. Let me click on logout and let me remove everything, and now let me log in again. I'll say user at the rate 123 and admin at the rate 123. If I click on login, okay, the login is success. Now if you go here, okay, can you see something? Can you see something here? There is a authorization header has been set, and what is the value of that set header is Shashi is cool. That's what we added, right? That's what we added. But we don't need to set any random value. We need to set the token because that's how this is going to travel. In the request header, can you see I have modified the request header? He will travel to the backend. So what we want to send? We want to send my token. How do we send it? We need to send it via a bearer. We need to write their prefix, not a prefix, but the first term is bearer. This is a bearer token. Bearer, and then we need to just say here my token. My token. Okay, this is how we do string interpolation in ES6. Okay, if you have doubt, oh, let me give you the what does it means. It means something like this. It means bearer space and then your my token, something like this, string concatenation. Okay, that's how you do. All right, now in this way our token is set. Now we are sending it to the backend. Okay, now let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Again, let me just go in the node and I need to log out first. Click on logout. And now let me say here user at the rate 123 and password will be admin at the rate 123. Click on login. Wow. Can you see? Now I am able to access. Now can you see my user? Can you see my user now? It is 200. 200 means success response. Now we are getting 200, not 401, which means now this guy can access my token. Now this guy can access my token. Okay. For how long he can access? So there is a timeline what we have set in the .NET. We have added expiry time as 1 day, which means my token will be valid for 1 day. Okay, let me just show you the good fact about it. Let me just try to remove this and just say here dot add seconds 10 seconds. Okay, let me save it and let me restart the application again. Okay, I added it for 10 seconds, and for doing that there is one more thing it is required, if I remember correctly, and that is we need to send skew time. Like for example, let's go in the program.cs. Okay, so here we have configured it, right? So there is something called as time expiry in the program.cs file. You can see. Let me just go there, navigate, and let me add that line here. Okay, so in the token validation parameter there is something called as clock skew. Here we need to say that okay, time span dot zero, so that it should match. So because what happens, right, if you put here as put here as 10 seconds, but still it will not take 10 seconds, it will take 5 minutes. So the minimum time it is valid is 5 minutes. 5 minutes, yes. But if you want to match it exact your time, then you need to add this guy in the program.cs. Clock skew equal to time span dot zero. Now what will happen, right? So now this will only take, now your token will be only authentic for 10 seconds. Okay. Once the token is expired, you need to log in again. That's the problem. Okay, let's restart it now and let's see the behavior if it is correct or not. Okay. So I came here and now I go here and run my application locals. Okay, now I try to access, say user at the rate 123 and password is okay. Now I will be logging. Let me inspect element so that I can see the errors and everything. Okay, I click on login. Okay, let's go in the network tab. Yeah, the login is success and I get 200 for this. Now let's count for 10 seconds or let's wait for 10 seconds. Okay, so this 200, 200, 200. Let me refresh it. Can you see? After 10 seconds, it's expired. The token is no more authentic. It was only for 10 seconds that you can see your data. Okay, so that's why I have put there as 1 day, that at least for 1 day your token will be valid. So that's why most of the companies prefer the token expiry for 1 hour. And after 1 hour, if a user again tries to log in, right, they get auto logout or something like that. Auto logout happens and they need to log in to fetch the data. Okay, let me show you that again. If I again log in, right, again log in, if I say user at the rate 123 and I say admin at the rate 123, if I hit enter, now I can again see the data. Now if you again count for 10 seconds, this will get expire. This will get expire. I can see the data. Can, it expired after 10 seconds, it is expired, and again we can see 401, which means unauthorized. You need to log in again to see your data. Okay, so that's how I have kept that thing there. So let me again make it as add days as 1 day, so my token is valid for 1 day. Okay, in future there is something called as refresh token. Okay, so let me also say that as well. There is something called as a refresh token, which I will be covering. Refresh token, very important topic, and it's an advanced topic. It is not mostly asked for a 1 year or 2 year experienced person. I have seen it. They expect this from at least 2 3 years of experience guy. How do we implement refresh token in .NET Core? Okay, so I know a very best way to do it, which I will be sharing with you guys as well. So just wait for that video where we will implement refresh token in Angular and .NET Core. Okay, so just wait for that day. We will implement that. That's for the third thing is we can handle errors as well. We can do error handling as well. Okay, let me just show you that how we can do that error handling. So here in the request.next.handle dot, okay, so this actually returns something very interesting. Let me show you that as well. So this is an observable, right? This is an observable. So what we can do here is we can make use of pipe to catch the error. So dot pipe. So inside that we can catch the error. So there is something called as catch error, CATCHERR. Okay, it is coming from RxJS. Okay, it is all are coming from RxJS. So we can catch error. Okay, and there is a selector, right? There is a selector where we need to catch it. We can say error. Okay, this has to be like this. And now we can say if error, if your error is an instance, is instance, I guess, ERR, instance of errors, HTTP error response. If this guy is instance of HTTP error response, okay, then what we can do is we can get the error codes. We can get the error codes from this guy. Okay, how do we get the error codes? It's again simple. If error dot, can you see error dot error status? If the status is equal to 401, so we can handle it here. We can just put here as this dot. We can use the toaster. We can use the toaster. So let's use the toaster. Private toast ng toast, not the module Sashi. It is ng toast service. Okay, and here we just say this dot toast dot. I can give a warning or error, whatever you would like to give. I can just say here, sorry, this has to be detail. I give here as warning, and I can give the summary as token is expired, login again. Okay, and also we can navigate them to the login page. Private router. Okay, and we can just say here this message, and then we say this dot router dot navigate and go back to login. You don't have access anymore. That's how we say. All right, and now let me see why is this error is coming. It says error of is not assignable to parameter of any got observables. I'm not sure why. We will fix it, no worries. So let's go here. This is my if block. Okay, and in that we can say return through error. This will handle. Other than that, if there is any other error, so we can say throw throw error, again coming from RxJS, and this guy has to be sent a new error. We can handle any other error. We can just say a new error, and inside that we can pass some other error occurred. That's how we written. Okay, that's why he was complaining, hey, you haven't used this guy. Okay, so that's how we return the throw error. In the catch we need to throw this error, right? If the error is of type 401, which means my token is expired, then we can say, hey, token is expired and please log in again. Okay, but if there is any other error, so that can be handled by this guy, by this return throw. Is it clear, everyone? Let me see in the comments if you have anything. No questions. I hope this is clear. If yes, please thumbs up in the chat if it is clear, because I will show you the practical thing now on the UI, how this works, how this catches the error and handle the error. If you got it, please say yes in the chat. Okay, okay, clear. Okay, good. All right, then let's see it in the practical. If I go here now, again I need to change it to 1 day. Sorry, 10 seconds. Add seconds. Okay, Riazali, yes, yes. Okay, save it and let's run it. Now this is for 10 seconds again. My token will expire in 10 seconds. Swagger is running. Let me open the log. Angular as well. And now let's see. If I say user at the rate 123 and the password is admin at the rate 123. Now I click on login. The first request takes always time in .NET, but yeah, I can see login success. Now let's wait for 10 seconds. Yes, it is accessible, accessible, accessible. Whoa, it has logged out and I can see token is expired. Please log in again. Okay, so that's how it works. That's how your interceptors actually help you to do error handling as well. If there is any error, he can catch that error and he can return. If you remember right, that warning will only show if the error type was 401, which means this is we are getting here as status code as 401. It is matching this and then it comes in this loop and then this guy is triggered. It is warning and it is throwing us to the login page again. Okay, so that's how we handle errors in Angular. So by interceptor we can do this as well. Okay, so now you know, right? I think Rahul was asking me about interceptor, so I hope this is clear to you, Rahul. If yes, please do. If anybody have still any issue with the interceptor, do let me know. Any questions related to interceptors, do let me know in the chat. Okay. um, all right, now, so this was about your token thing in Angular. How do we make use of JWT token? Okay, how do we make use of interceptors? How do we make use of guards in Angular? Okay, and I think that's pretty much it for today in this session actually, where I have explained you about using JWT token in Angular. In the next part, what I'm planning is that I will be taking up the dashboard page. So we will be creating, now we will be focusing something on UI side. So we'll try to see how do we create a good dashboard in Angular. Okay, so that I'll take in the next session, where we will be creating a beautiful one. Okay, not the ordinary just a small table and display the user record. No, I'll create a good one, because what I'm planning is, for example, so I got a lot of questions that, hey Shashi, how do we how do we display the username on the nav bar? Correct? How do we show them based on role? If you remember right, okay, let me show this again. I think this will be quite good to make you guys more interested about the next session. Why this is important? If I just show you, okay, so let me just show you the username. The username is okay. Sorry, let me log in it again. Okay, if I click on login, let me remove this. If you guys remembered one thing, that we are storing something. We are storing something in the token. If you guys remember, if I just copy this, let's go in the website jwt.io. Control V. Can you see here that I'm storing something called as role and name in the token. So I'm storing these two person in the token and I want to access them in my UIs, because there are requirements which comes to the user that, hey, I want to display the name of user here. Like for example, if I just go on the bootstrap, not the grid, just the bootstrap, and I want to get the nav bar. Let me try to add it quick. Think I can do this one, or why I can do. I'm searching for a good one. Yep, let me copy this guy and let's go here and I'll take all the questions. I see questions are coming. I'll take all the questions after this. Okay, just wait for it. I'll take all those questions. No worries. I will be here. Okay, now let's go here in the HTML and let me remove this hello dashboard to Control V, and let me remove the inline forms as well. We put a div with saying span hello. Control save. Let's go here and let's see how it looks. Okay, the token is expired again. Okay. I'm so sorry. I need to change it to add. But can you guys see my token got expired automatically? And I have been thrown to the login page. Okay, let me run the application again. Okay, let me run the local host 4200, my Angular, and let me. Okay, again, first request takes time. Okay. So now we have a nav bar, and here we have hello Shashi written. So what I need to display this, guys. Okay, I need to display this. I need to display this whenever the user logs in. Suppose some other users logged into my application and I want to show his name. So how can I do that? How can I do that dynamically? So that thing we will cover in the next part. Okay, how to add your name dynamically, how to retrieve some data from your token and display it. Okay, so that will be done in the next session. Okay, that's how I will be targeting, but with a better UI. I promise, a better UI, not like this. Okay. Okay. Yep. All right, guys. So that's it from the today's video. We have learned a lot today, and again, if you have any questions, anything for me, you can just comment on my any of my video, or you can just DM me on Insta, or you can also connect with me on Telegram. So we have a lot of medium where we can communicate. Okay, so you can just connect with me there. All right. Chalo. Bye bye and keep learning, guys. Everyone.